Well, I'm sorry it took so long to get to this point, but right now is the moment that some of y'all have been waiting for. It is officially the first part to my next charger build. So, with further ado, or however the hell you say it, here's what we got, and I will show you guys what's here and how I got to this point. So, be patient. This is part one. Thank you guys for watching. Drilling out all these spot welds. See, the thing is, the charger cowl comes over here, so we got to make room for all the gutter assembly and stuff. So in order to do that, got to take all the existing support out of the top half of the firewall of the Crown Vic. And then have to cut the door jabs down. And yeah, trying to do it as right as we can by grinding out all the spot welds. So, we'll keep going with this, and we'll show you guys how she looks. So, the whole cowl section is cut out. Now, the reason I did this is because I need to make room for my gutters. The last charger I built did not have gutters. It rained all inside of the car. The thing sucked. So, we'll have a bit of filling to do there, but y'all will see how it comes together. I'm gonna start hacking these apart. That way the body can right into that little crevice there. Got done cutting the door jam out, making some room.
I mean, for stock suspension.
Oh fuck.
Right now. Well, it's darker than my living room.
Hiya.
Look, I know this car looks
Beach.
shiny in iPhone 17 Pro. Snake Navy with AT&T. Got this, guys. Get iPhone 17 Pro on us. With eligible trade-in.
I'll start cutting her right there. Right there. Get them rockers off there. Get that door jam off there. Get this quarter and wheelhouse off here. Draw out all them spot welds. And she will be good to go.
Well, we've got the T rolled in.
Rotten frame rails. The whole underbelly of this car is rotten. Bruh. Plumber's putty. And a back window frame. Shit's ass to cut through. Now, with this, I'm doing a little bit differently than last time. So I've started cutting because I'm going to try to keep these upper braces here because, number one, it'll do good for bracing up my fenders a little bit better. Number two, I want to keep as much of my cowl panel as I can, so I figured keeping this whole upper section and then blending all this into the Crown Vic Firewall would probably be one of my best bets. I've started cutting along here. As you can kind of see, it's all free, cutting down to the rocker panels. Now the inside cut of this is going to be cut right down through here, right at the pinch weld. And the idea is to mate them back together at the pinch welds. In the back here, which is pretty crusty, so Mother Nature's kind of already started separating it for me. Oh, under here, I'm gonna cut just before. So the pinch welds of a Charger and the bottom pinch welds of the Charger, the bottom ones offsetted more inward than the top pinch welds. On a Crown Vic, it only offsets a yay bit. So I've offsetted it just enough from the upper pinch weld and given myself just enough chunk to go down. So I will cut along this side of the tape line down the whole rocker panel, which slims the rocker up just a little bit, but it's not killing the whole, it's not basically cutting the whole rocker panel out. We don't want to cut the whole rocker panel. At least not yet. Once I have the car welded onto the other chassis, or at least somewhat onto the other chassis, I may end up replacing a rocker section, mainly on the driver's side. This car was sat in the mud for a very long time, and the hole underneath of it is just rotted out. I mean, it looks good from above, but honestly, the only way to save this car and turn it back to factory form would be to spend roughly 13 grand in metal, or buy a 4-door Dodge Corvette for roughly 5 grand. But I don't want to sacrifice another 4-door. I don't want to sacrifice a 4-door Mopar to make this work. I would like to innovate a little bit. I have not yet seen an LS swapped Crown Vic Charger, so that is the goal. Here we got the whole Crown Victoria chassis here. I have already started cutting all of the pinch welds off. So basically the Charger pinch welds look like they're gonna go right to there. I haven't decided if I'm gonna slice off this rusty section at the bottom. It's not rusted all the way through, but I'm debating on if I wanna just cut it upwards a little bit and then refabricate another pinch weld on the back of this. Now, when I get the Charger on this chassis, the body is gonna be coming off the chassis anyway, eventually, to redo the frame and stuff and paint the floorboards of the car. I've got a little bit of rust repair to do right there, which isn't going to be a big deal. It's easy to find a Crown Vic floor. The front of the floors are solid, so we're good on there. The trunk floor of this car is pretty solid. It's got a little bit of surface here and there, but it's not terrible. It's got a very solid frame under it. The frame rails of this car are just absolutely beautiful. The wheels will look cool for now, but they're definitely not staying. I'm not a fan of them wheels. And you can't tell me an LS won't fit right down in there. Look at that driver's side frame rail. Thing's cooked. The frame rail on the passenger side might be somewhat salvageable, but back there where it goes to the torsion bar cross member is pretty rough. Well, as you guys saw, I already have this cut. I've got everything cut around the wheelhouses. Started to kind of come into the rocker panel area on both sides. So what I will do from here is I will go ahead and start working on my line under the rocker panel. Get that freed up. That way the chassis is kind of holding the body up a little bit so I'm not under it while it's all loosey-goosey. And then for my final cut, I'm gonna cut along the pinch weld. And then I shall separate the two, which is gonna be sweet. I've got the cherry picker or engine hoist, whatever you wanna call it, in the back here. I'm gonna wrap a strap. I'm gonna configure out a strap. I haven't figured out quite how I'm gonna put it around yet, but I'm gonna configure a strap around the back, put it up through the center, pick the back end up with the engine hoist, and then I have this sketchy little guillotine setup where I'm gonna hook the A-pillars to, and then slowly winch it upward. Well, the body is up in the air. Yucky, 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 yucky. Cut her right at the wheel wells. This thing's awesome. Got Wesley Chaplin playing on the TV. Yeah, buddy. About to roll this sucker on out after I take a drink of my cold snack. Check this. So much flex in that old chassis. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and winch her up onto the trailer. And I'll pick parts here. I got the body hung over the chassis. I've been using tape to make my marks because I don't know how to follow a Sharpie very well. Now, usually if this bottom rocker panel here wasn't rusty, I would keep it and base my pinch welds off that. But because I'm going to be eventually pulling the whole body, floor, and everything off the frame to redo the frame, and all this is rusty, I'm just going to make a slice down through there, drop all that off, and then when I pull the body off of the frame eventually, I will be able to redo my bottom pinch weld. But I made sure to cut low enough so I'm not getting into the floor structure of the car, and that's going to be awesome. Also, too, eventually, I'm probably going to need to put a rocker panel on this side because this thing is a little soft through there. Now, what I decided to do differently that I didn't originally plan to is I decided to go ahead and cut out all the spot welds of this brace here, and I decided to go ahead and remove it because when I drop the car down, I'm probably going to need to rebuild most of this anyway, and figured starting fresh would be just a little bit better than trying to utilize what was there. Mainly because if you notice, on the last car I had problems with this and I had to cut down the pillar way in. With this car, I don't really want to cut down the pillar. I want to blend the firewall into the original metal right here. So I will cut a plate eventually when I get it all mounted. Got everything cut down through, or I've got everything marked down through here to cut. So I will go ahead and get at it. Still gonna have to cut some of these wheel wells upward. I ain't decided how I'm gonna do it yet. Figured I'd go ahead, get the Crown Vic chassis shaved, start to lower it, start to raise it, start to lower it, start to raise it, yada, 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 and cut and trim as I go. So I will go ahead and pull the camera out and show you as I go. Now, I'm terrible at recording my work sometimes, so be very patient with me here. It's starting to come down, as you can see. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to try to save the factory wipers, which I don't have none of the wiper stuff to make the originals work, but I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to save the factory wipers or go ahead and cut this out, rebuild the top half of the firewall, and go ahead and run electronic wipers. So Still up in the air about that. Get it? Up in the air. But still up in the air about it. So I've got this side cut off. You can see the original brace down there. It's all cut off. So I will go ahead, move over to the other side and cut that brace off that side. We're getting just a little bit lower. Them front braces taken out, I was able to manipulate the body. Now I'll have to fill in that gap, but that'll be okay. The firewall is going to be set back just a little bit, but that's not going to be a big deal because I'm going to trim down the firewall and actually make a plate that hooks from the front of the firewall to the back. So the firewall will have a bit of an overbite. That won't be a big deal. Rocker panels, I cut the bottom half of the rockers off where it was all rusty. Eventually, I'm gonna have to rebuild the pinch weld for the bottom half of the rocker. Won't be a big deal. And undetermined on whether or not I'm gonna do a body drop just by deleting the body bushings altogether. We'll see how that goes. My wheel wells in the back, I've got trimmed inward. Now, I'm sorry. My arches in the back, I've got trimmed inward. I'm gonna have to trim up the wheel wells. I'm gonna have to trim up the rockers a little bit, add some paint behind them rockers to hopefully keep them from rusting anymore. The wheel is kind of centered. It's still, but I believe it's gonna come back just a tickle, but be all right. Still refreshing the memory here. Said I've got some trimming to do along there. As you can see, I have taken the entire wheel well, or the entire pinch weld that once held the wheel well. I have cut it all out. I had to cut it inward about like an inch and a half on each side, something like that. I mean, mind you, don't take my word 100% for it. Get you a tape measure and measure it yourself if you're doing this. Might be able to leave this flap here. Might have to take it off. Not sure yet. This side, I've got some paint on that rocker panel. Got the bottom of it where it was all rusty cut off of there. Now, like I said, the rocker panel is going to hang down below this. So I am going to need to build a new pinch weld. But won't be a big deal. I've got some floor patches I got to do back here, but they said Crown Vic floors, you can pretty much find them at any junkyard around. Front floor pans are awesome. But yeah, so I will go ahead and keep cutting and cutting and cutting. I said I'm going to cut the firewall down a little bit to kind of clear the gutters, the cowl panel gutters. I'm going to have to probably cut this upper section off. Won't be no big deal though. But yeah, she's coming along. So I'll keep having at it. And it's actually weird how close these floors are to this car. As long as you get them cut down, pretty damn close. So I've got the car lowered down just a little bit. The wheel alignment is looking aight. So I have grounded down that underside of that rocker and painted it just because at some point I'm not going to be able to see it no more. But as you can tell, it's starting to rust through in a few spots. That rocker is not the best, so it's probably going to end up needing replaced. But as you can see, there's my tape line. I follow the tape, cut the line, and the reason I'm doing this is because I'm actually going to be rebuilding the bottom half of these rockers. But eventually, I got a few more things I got to do first before I can get to that point. But right now I'm battling the firewall. The firewall is a little bit high. I'm going to have to cut it a little bit lower. I have made some tape marks on the firewall I haven't decided how much more I'm going to cut it down on each side, but I will have to cut the firewall down just a little bit more. But won't be a big deal. On this side, I've kind of mocked up the fender a little bit just to make sure my wheels kind of lined up in the well there. Now with these cars, the Crown Vics are about 2 inches shorter than the Charger. So it's kind of like manipulating the wheel inside of the well where it fits the best. Back here, a lot of people thought with the last build that I kept the rear wheel wells of the Charger or the Crown Vic. I did not. So on the last build, I had cut the wheel wells of the Crown Vic off and used the factory wheel wells on the Charger. That's what I'm doing with this car. Now what I'm doing a little bit differently is my cuts are a little bit more precise. As you can see, I have done a little bit of measuring. And should look good by the time it's said and done. Looks like I'm going to have to cut a little bit of this off to fit the wheel wells, but that won't be that bad. Like I said, it's a process of lowering, raising, just kind of seeing where everything wants to fit. Kind of cutting as you go. This is my nice little pile of metal I've cut out of both cars so far. This will all be scraps. All right, so I'm working with kind of debacle here. All right, so the Crown Vic firewall actually sits back further than the Charger firewall. Now, I was thinking to myself, I can trim these edges and squeeze it under the cowl panel, right? Well, then that leads me to another problem. Then my booster is going to actually hit the upper cowl panel of the Charger, as well as my brake pedal bracket is going to hit the firewall. Now, being that I've got a bunch of holes in these firewalls, in this firewall to fill, I'm thinking I'm going to slice this section of firewall out, slice this section of firewall out, and then actually remake the firewall coming in to these pinch welds here. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Now, in here, you can see we still have to go down probably another 3-4 inches on each side. The back's fitting really good. I mean, that's all gonna fit right in between the wheel wells there. So the back's fitting pretty good. What I'm gonna have to do is cut out, just trim a little bit out of there on each side. My wheel arches are just about good. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking is gonna have to happen. The rocker panels are clearing, so that's gonna be good. Pinch weld to pinch weld's gonna line up. Back here, I'm gonna have a little bit to fill in, but not much. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is chop out them sections of firewall, get them out of my way, and I'll probably have to rebuild the well, no probably about it. I'll definitely have to rebuild the firewall on each side. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. It's starting to get a little bit dark, and I'm gonna get this stuff cut out before it gets too late. Oh yeah, I don't just like it, I love it. Yeah, you see 2 different cars spliced together. Love that shit. Look at them wheels, baby. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like it. I like it. What's going on here? Looks very, very good. Looks very, very good. Oh, and I decided to chop out the firewall to make room for the gutters. So now I get to rebuild the firewall. Yay. There she be. Got the fender kind of just mocked on there right now. But you can see where I've had to take a lot of the firewall out. I'll have to rebuild the firewall, but that won't be no biggie. I had to trim a little bit out of that fender because eventually when the core support and everything gets jammed into there, it's going to be a little bit on the tight side. Now what I had to do here is to hold the pinch welds together for now. I went ahead and drilled some pilot holes and then ran a few self-tappers in there just to keep the rocker panels and pinch welds together. Good choice on my part. Such a good looking car. Well, at least compared to what it was, I guess. I don't know, it kind of looks worse now. But, you know, hey, trust the process, right? Trust the process. Whew-wee. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get this bad gal rolled outside. Get her vacuumed out so y'all can see it in the light. Well, got the old girl finally rolled outside. And I could finally clean up my work area a little bit. But here she is. Man, it looks good, don't it? Now, something's bugging me back here, okay? See that rear end? I feel like it needs to go back a little bit. It's up here, I feel like we're really solid up here. But back there, it needs to go back just a tickle. And I'm pretty sure I got the body placed almost where I had it on the first Charger. These wheels might be a touch bigger in diameter, but I'm definitely not running them. But I believe I have it all about where I had the last Charger. But yeah, you can see that it just looks like it needs to go back a smidge. Now, I'm not sure if the trailing arms are bent or anything. Okay, so it does look like we do have a little bit of a bent trailing arm. But see, there's plenty of room back here to where if I wanted to, I could drop the frame out of this. I could add different 4-link bars to the inside of the frame and then possibly run a Ford 9-inch in the back with coilovers. So, we'll see how that goes. Now, I know on the last Charger, the rear end was a bit wide for the 15x8s. They rubbed the wheel lip just a little bit when the rear axle would articulate from side to side. But we'll see how, kind of see how it all plans out. My measurements on the body say that the body's squared up on the floor pan itself. I will be pulling the body itself off the frame once I get everything welded together, so in time. I'm gonna have to repair my rocker panels under here, which won't be too big of a job. Like I said, I'll do it once I get the body off the frame itself with the floor pan. That way I can remake the pinch welds. But I've got it all painted up back there, so hopefully it'll keep it from corroding up a little bit. But yeah, it just looks so damn good. So you can see I've got the body pretty much lined up. But another thing I need to do too is I'll need to cut out another Crown Vic rear floor pan for this, which won't be that hard. I can find a rear floor pan from any junkyard. So this was a local police car at one time. And the reason the front pans are so solid and the rear pans are crusty is because there's actually drain holes in the floor here. So back then when somebody would decide to poop, pee, you know, throw up, anything in the back of the cruiser, they'd take the hose it out, all the stuff would right into the floorboard and out the holes. Well, being that they did that, there was insulation in the carpet that actually soaked up a lot of that acidy stuff and ate away at the floor pans. But it's weird because under the car, it looks so decent, but above, it looks so crusty. So, like I said, I'll cut out a bunch of that. I'll find another rear Crown Vic floorboard. That won't be a big deal. I've got the rocker panels just self-tapered in place for now to kind of hold everything together as I do this. It's not a permanent hold, so don't think I'm gonna hold my car together with self-tappers. It's slowly coming along. Like I said, I'm gonna have to kind of configure things back here. I need to kind of see how my taillight panel fits in. I know the last one I did, I had to take a lot of that brace out to fit the panel, so we'll see kind of how this one plays out. But golly, ain't this is just something to be proud of. Bring the body forward a little bit, or go ahead and do another fabricated rear end for it. But the front wheels are kind of sitting where I want them. I don't yet have a hood. I don't yet have a front valance, a grill, none of that. I don't have a passenger side fender yet. I have a 70 fender in there, but I'm going to be trading it for a 69 fender here soon. So hopefully I can get all that. But funny thing is, this car's a 70 and this fender's a 69 fender. And man, look how well that paint matches up together. Kind of almost makes you want to keep the patinaed look. But them quarter panels are absolutely roached. You can see it through the bottom here. That's another thing too. I'm not sure if this trim needs to be further back or if it's supposed to be sitting up there, because this whole line right here is roached out. So whole inner wheel wells are roached out. So I'll have quite a few things to do. The parts list is still big on this car. I'm looking at outer wheel houses for both sides. I'm looking at 2 rear quarter panels I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need a grill, a hood, a front bumper, lower valance. I'm gonna need a taillight panel. I'm gonna need the lower panel to the taillight. I'm gonna need the corner caps for them. I'm gonna need that one piece that goes between the quarter panels right under the rear window. So there's just a lot of little things I'm gonna need to acquire for this build. So if you don't mind subscribing just to help a fella out, you know, hey, that'd be awesome. I'm 24 years old just trying to make this shit happen. And still a lot I'm gonna need to do. I appreciate the support of everybody. The people who supported me through my last Charger build, the people who are kind of supporting me through this Charger build. Like I said, I'm going with one of them badass LS's, okay? I gotta make it right this time. Gotta make it right. Keeping the factory Charger dashboard. I've got it sitting on the ground right here. I would show you a few of these cars, but you guys aren't allowed to see those yet. So you're gonna have to wait on those, okay? Them are some bad mamma jammas I'm building up. Okay, so got a lot of project cars around here. I'm gonna work on getting this shop cleaned up. I hope you guys enjoy this little part 1. I know I didn't show a whole lot of me working. I just kind of showed as I dropped it down and had to trim out, had to drop it down, had to trim out. Like I said, it was about 20 times of up, down, and then a tape measure side to side, left and right, up and down. So we'll see how this build goes. And I don't plan on getting rid of this one. This one me and my brothers picked up from Texas. We drove a little S10 all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio to Waco, Texas. Over 3,000 miles round trip. And we had a blast. And it's a car that my brothers are super stoked about. They just left for the Army, so bless their hearts for that. And like I said, we'll kind of see we'll kind of see how things go. I'm posting on YouTube again. I'll have a complete story behind why I took all my videos down and kind of left YouTube for a little bit. A lot of family things going on. But that's a story for another day. This is the charger. This is the new charger. And I hope you guys enjoy this build because I'm ramped up. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a long 2 weeks, and I'll be back for more. Y'all have a good one.